Welcome to another edition of Home Sweet Home with Russ, McClellan and Friends. And here's your host, Russ McClellan.
Hey, how's everybody doing out there? Summer is here. Wow. Finally. Today I'm very excited on this show, Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends, to have one of my best friends in the real estate mindset world. Good morning, Mr. Fletcher Ellingson.
Hey, good morning. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me on the show again.
Yeah, you know, this show is an important one. And here's why I called you. And I know we've done quite a few things together, and you've helped many of our agents become more confident, more aggressive in a good way, happier. And sometimes I think we lose track of happiness as part of mindset. But you've done some amazing work with me, and you've been basically with this company, Keller Williams, since we've opened as a consultant to our mind. Well, has there ever been, have you seen a more important time to think about mindset than right now in the last decade or so?
Oh, man. With all the uncertainty in our economy and in our health and our wellness, boy, this really is an important time to take a look at your mindset and understand what mindset even means and how it might be impacting your life.
Yeah, and you know, we all have different thoughts at different times, and I thought maybe we could start to unpack a little bit today why we have so many things racing through our head in this time of uncertainty, and why do people feel the way they feel? Because it's very justified. I mean, people feel the way they feel, and you know, I was told once by my wife, you know, you can give me a lot of advice, but you really don't have the authority to tell me how to feel. Right.
Yeah.
And that was a wake up call. You know, it's like, you know, I probably should have learned that as a teenager, but it took me till I was 50. So anyway, So why don't we start? I mean, let me tell you what I'm seeing, and maybe we can just kind of go from there. I know middle of July here, you're going to do another free seminar. And I want to congratulate you on being such an abundant thinker and selfless individual to, you know, people. If you don't know Fletcher Ellingson, you should get to know him, because those people, you know, people like Fletcher that are abundant thinkers, that will send you random texts to help your day be more positive, that will just give his time freely to help people, genuinely help people. You know, it comes back to him, but, you know, I'll tell you what, it's a rare commodity in today's world. I mean, I just want to say thank you, first of all, for all that you've done for our company. We're pushing 90 real estate agents in 4 years out of about 400 total in the MLS. We're doing, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars in deals. But I tell you what, my agents in the market, my friends, my family, just about everywhere I look, Fletcher, there are people going, what in the heck should I do? And I'm a little scared. So let's unpack. Yeah. Could you unpack some of that for us?
So first of all, thanks again for those kind words. I appreciate it. And we're talking about mindset. And I think maybe a great place to start is simply by defining what mindset is, because, you know, we talk a lot about that in our society, in our culture, but it's helpful to have a working definition. And so when I think of mindset, I think it means a set of fixed attitudes, decisions, and beliefs that help me make sense of who I am and help me make sense of the world around me. So mindset is attitudes, they're fixed attitudes, decisions, and beliefs that help me make sense of myself and the world around me. And within that definition, I believe are the keys to the kingdom, the secret to life, and how we navigate it. We're either going to navigate it with massive fear and uncertainty, or a sense of ease and joy and certainty. And so it's really, the conversation is, how do we, with intention, affect those fixed attitudes, decisions, and beliefs? We gotta find out, do those fixed attitudes, decisions, and beliefs, do they serve me? Do they move me forward, or do they hold me back? And if they don't, we gotta look at a more powerful story and changing some of those up, replacing some of them, if you will. And so I think that's at the core of this conversation. Would you agree with that, Russ?
Absolutely. I believe that, fear, false evidence, appearing real, that acronym,
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense. And there's a lot of little one-liners and cliches like that. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, we were raised a certain way. We all had our own childhood. Some of us had better childhoods than others. Some of us had abuse. Some of us had incredible parents. Some of us had no parents. I mean, so you have all these
Mm-hmm.
people running around that were programmed from childhood to wherever they got to. Nothing is good or bad, and nothing is going to make you be a certain way for the rest of your life. That's to some degree a choice. And I think that's what we're talking about. But the reality is, we don't always think about it as a choice. We think about it as programming, meaning it's an automatic sensor that creates negativity or fear based thoughts. And it's almost like evolutionary, where our mind is designed to protect us by being afraid of things, to keep us in the
Yes.
herd, to keep us inside the lines. And I mean, if you think about it, when we were little kids, I mean, I don't know about you, bud, but when I was in kindergarten, I was coloring outside the lines. And I was just like, had my head in the corner a lot, probably because I was not very good at standing in line. I was not very good at coloring in the lines. I was trying to beat systems as a kindergarten, but I was free to do that in a beautiful Mayberry setting in Manson, Washington, right? I mean, not everybody had that. Not everybody had that.
Right.
And this is the structure is to get in line, stay in line. And so often I think when they say, I heard this somewhere, where you operate as a child, you operate at a genius level until you're about 4 years old. And I have a 3.5-year-old grandson, and I have a 1-month-old grandson, which I'm excited about. So I have two grandsons, and the 3.5-year-old, my daughter, his mom, is she's realizing that 3.5, boy, they explore things quickly, fascinating. I mean, they're aggressive, they're creative, they're jumping, they're sticking their fingers in, needles in the light socket kind of stuff, right? And they're like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And we start to compress people into this. No, you can't do that. And better, that's not right. And I don't know what happens, but all of a sudden when uncertainty, like we're feeling right now, interest rates climbing, inflation climbing, a war in Ukraine, I don't know, the prices of homes, I mean, prices of rent, prices of gasoline, prices of hamburger. These are all very real things. So when you tell somebody, well, change your mindset, I can just see it in their eyes sometimes, like, how about pound sand, dude? Right? Because you don't know what I'm dealing with. And so
Right.
that's where I want to, like, what is the method that we can help people today? Even just give them a couple nuggets. I mean, I know that mindset work, I do it every day practically. I'm always failing forward and trying to have a better attitude, trying to be selfless, trying to be living in gratitude, trying to, make sure that I'm telling people that I love and care about how much I appreciate them. But it's not easy. It's something that I have to work at, right? And so what can we do for people on this show today that are feeling anxiety and stress and uncertainty? What are some of the basics that we can share from your experience, Fletcher?
Yeah. Perfect question. And I want to call out what you just said. People are feeling and anxiety, and so it's helpful to understand why people are feeling that way. So this is so cool. The way your brain is designed to work is that the brain will release certain chemicals like cortisol or adrenaline to match the story that you're focused on. So the brain doesn't make any judgments about the stories that you're focused on. It doesn't make any judgments at all. It simply reacts in a chemical way to match the story that you're focused on. So, and I think the clearest example of this, Russ, is when you go to the movie theater and you sit down with your popcorn and you got your soda or your water or whatever, and the movie comes up and you're focused on the screen in front of you. And, in 10 minutes into the movie, you're laughing, having a really good laugh, laughing your ass off. And then 15 minutes later, you might be choking back tears or just outright sobbing, right? And then 15 minutes later, you're on the edge of your seat because what's happening is so exciting. You're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? and then you're laughing again, and then maybe getting choked up again, or maybe feeling romantic. Pretty soon the movie ends, come up, and you just had this roller coaster of emotions, meaning that your brain at 2 hours had been releasing different chemicals, cortisol, adrenaline, dopamine, serotonin, endorphins. It was releasing all these things over and over and over based on the story that you were viewing. This is how incredible the brain is. It chemically matches what you are focused on. And why is this so important? Because it answers perfectly the question you just asked. What can people do? Like, give us some tangible things we can do during our day. The number one thing you can do is pay attention to what you are focused on. Because whatever you are focused on, the brain has to match chemically. It has to. It doesn't have a choice. That's how it is designed. Yeah. So if you are focused on all the terrible things that are happening in the news, your brain has to chemically match it.
Yeah, we get back.
Instead, yeah, and then instead, if you're paying attention to, oh my gosh, it's a blue sky out there. There's look at these beautiful flowers. Oh, I get to work with this great group of people. Then your brain has to chemically match what you're focused on there as well. Isn't that incredible?
It's a wild thing, evolution and programming. When we come back in the second segment, I want to get into some examples of what we're talking about, how our brain matches what we're focusing on, because I think you're right. People don't know what they're focused on half the time, including me. Yeah. So when we come back in just a few minutes with Fletcher Ellingson, we're going to talk more about mindset and real tactics. Thanks for tuning in this morning. We'll be right back.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Home sweet home, home sweet home.
Hey, this is Russ McClellan with Keller Williams. I want to talk to you about something. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel the financial pressures of the COVID virus? That was fun, wasn't it? I'll tell you what, real estate can be a game changer for you, and I'm here to help you. If you want to give me a call at 509-888-0038, I want to talk about your life and getting unstuck. We are growing rapidly. We're the fastest growing real estate company in all of North Central Washington. Give us a call. I want to help you. 509-888-0038.
With the new Keller Williams School of Real Estate, you can now get your license for free. Access tools, tips, and personalized coaching with Keller Williams award-winning training programs, and start off your career in real estate the right way. K-Score is 100% online and entirely free to students, with pre-licensing curriculum geared toward placing aspiring agents on a direct path to licensure and profitability. With K-Score, we're not just unlocking the door, we're opening every door to anyone that's ever dreamed of starting their career in real estate. We're making a difference for you so that you can make a difference for others. Now available for all individuals in Washington. Your future awaits. Enroll today.
We're excited. We got a lot of people signing up, so give us a call, 509-888-0038, or simply email us at joinus@kwncw.com. Let's go from being stuck to unstuck.
You're tuned to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends. Now back to Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Fletcher Ellingson today, talking about how come we feel the way we feel. And right now, Fletcher, hey, man, people are scared. And you know what I was laughing about? Two things I wanted to share. A, when we were doing our first segment there, we were kind of cutting in and out. Your voice was getting a little low, a little high. And it's like, hey, do we want to do that segment again? No, because this is taped, right? I'm like, no. Here's one way to look at it. Boy, that radio show kind of sucks because they're kind of cutting in and out. And maybe some people felt like that. That's a pain to listen to. Or maybe another way to look at it is, I can barely hear Fletcher at times talk, so I'm going to pay more attention, and I'm going to get more focused, and I'm going to convert this into a positive experience because now I'm focused on what we're doing to try to help people. So there's an example. I love it. The other thing that was interesting, I got an Apple Watch on, So here's a perfect example. We're doing a great show. I'm pumped about helping people, changing lives to the life they want, the life they deserve, using real estate as the vehicle to do it. And mindset is the key to that. And all of a sudden, my phone or on my watch goes beep, beep, beep. And Russia launches thermal against Ukraine. I'm like, okay, that's weird. I just looked down at my watch and we're talking about a potential world war. Boy, that's nice to focus on while we're trying to be positive. And I was thinking to myself, what do we do all day like that, like I just did in real time, that's instinctual, that we don't really maybe have an ability to quantify in a way that, like, how many times a day do I look at my watch and see something? Or how many times a day do I look at the email or the text message or the news on the radio or on the TV? And if I really could step back a little bit and look at my life each and every day, how much of my life is filled with beautiful things and love and gratitude and appreciation and enjoyment and how beautiful the sunset is versus Ukraine and interest rates and inflation and prices and hamburger and oil. So
Yes.
what do we do to stop us from being addicts to this bombardment of information that most of it is negative, because negativity is bait click, right? It makes people
Yes.
money.
Yes. So, all right, awesome question and great real-time example. Yeah, because we do this all day long, don't we? We get a message on our phone or our watch, or we're driving down the road and we see, somebody's about to run us off the road or cut in front of us, and then we go into a story about them. We're constantly making up stories and shifting our focus. And remember, the brain it has no choice. It must chemically match what we are focused on. And so your question is, what can we do? Because we're so practiced at this. So yes, we have to interrupt the patterns. How do we do that? A practical way that we have used in our own personal household here is sometimes we set our alarm for random times during the day. Our phone or our watch, we'll set it for every couple hours. And when our watch goes off or our phone goes off, that is our opportunity to take a moment and just check in with ourselves. Hey, what am I focused on? God, am I reading news again? Did I get sucked back into my news feed? And no wonder I'm feeling crappy. So first of all, you just take inventory. Where am I at? Where are my thoughts? And then that alarm went off for a reason, to interrupt your pattern. Now it's time to focus with intention on something that feels good. So what's something that feels good? What can I get grateful about? What can I notice that's going well in the world as opposed to what's going not well? Who can I think about right now that I can feel warmly of? Or what's coming up in my future that I can think of and focus on that's going to feel good. So one simple thing we can do, like really practical, is set your alarm for 6 times during the day. We actually did it in our house. We set it every hour one day. And so, Russ, that was a really fun day because every hour we were stopping and being grateful for something. It was really cool. But that's one practical thing you can do. And I know that's a baby step, but it's about taking little baby steps and getting your life aligned with the outcome that you want.
Yeah, I mean, there's a quote by Doris Day I put up on my Facebook page not that long ago, and it said, "Complaint is poverty and gratitude is riches."
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, at the end of the day, these habits that we have, we don't know we have. So, and I don't care who you are, because we're human, and all of us have a tendency to get frustrated, and there's nothing wrong with stress. I mean, sometimes stress will create magic, right? Without stress, we'd all be sitting around eating bonbons, I guess. I don't know. So stress is stress is a good thing, but one of the things that I like, I mean, a real life hack is, find a habit you're already doing. Like, do you brush your teeth? Okay, so if you brush your teeth, right, that's an anchor because you do it every day. Your brain already knows that it's time to brush your teeth after you take a shower, whatever you're doing. Well, maybe right then, right on your mirror, in your bathroom 3 things you're grateful for, and just leave it up. Just leave it up there. It could be any. It could be your kids, your spouse, your grandkids, the sunshine, clean water. It could be whatever you want, and then just start your day focusing on that and letting that dopamine hit, which is little, just kind of get you started in the right direction. Another thing I was thinking, another thing I was thinking about that I'm guilty of, because you know me, I sit around and I don't do much every day, and I just try to be lazy. And, no, I'm just kidding. Sometimes I get a little bit a crazy parent, crazy passionate about stuff, and then I kind of convince myself I need a break, because you always say, no, people, oh, you're working so hard, you need a break. You should just sit down and watch, put your feet up. You're working too much. And well, first of all, I'm very lucky because I like what I do. I like helping people in real estate change their life, right? I love helping people buy and sell homes, and I'm really focused on it. But I think there's a myth. I think sometimes when people tell you to take a break and you have a lot to do, that creates even more stress. Sometimes the best way to handle things is just to engage. Just engage. Just do it. Don't listen to other people. Just do you, and be you times 2, because you're perfect. This whole social media crap, man, I'll tell you what, it's a tool. It's a tool that we use, but you don't compare your insides to other people's BS outsides that they're putting on Facebook. Because you know what? They're not that good looking. Their spouse isn't that good looking. Their car's not that nice. Blah, blah. I mean, come on. And if they're all that in a bag of chips, and they think it and they tell you that every day, run away from them. Just run away from them, because they're not. We're just people. We're all in the same boat. And this leads me to a question. What do you do when the people that you love and care about are negative around you? And you don't want to sound like Mary Poppins and, try to shove rainbows and unicorns up them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're kind of a jerk at that point. So how do you handle, if you really choose to make a better life for yourself by being more positive and taking inventory on your thoughts and getting that negativity out of your life, but you have all your loved ones and your kids and your spouses and your friends are maybe not there yet. So how do you help them, or more importantly, how do you help yourself to not fall into that trap?
Yeah. So great question. Really important question. And I want to answer that. Do we have time now, or should we wait till the next segment?
No, go for it, man. Let's do it.
So again, it's all about taking baby steps. One of the things that we're practiced at asking people questions that give them permission to start venting and dump all their negativity into the conversation. We can interrupt that pattern by doing the following: asking your friend or your family member what's going well in their life. Hey, tell me something that you've been enjoying doing lately. What's been going well? What's working out for you? What's a win? Right? We take lead in the conversation, and we put forth the positivity and create a space, an opportunity for others to join in.
I love that. And so often complaint leads to complaint.
Exactly.
It's like this cesspool of crap that we love to talk about. There's a quote that I really like. It says, when you were made a leader, and a leader could be, like you're a dad or a mom. A leader could be you're just a person in a group of friends. And, we all at times are leaders, so it doesn't mean like you have a title. But this quote by Jack Welch, when it talks about leadership, it says, when you were made a leader, you weren't given a crown. You were given the responsibility to bring out the best in others. So
I love that one.
So maybe concentrate on complimenting someone. Make them feel good. Make them feel powerful. And you know what? Most people, sadly enough, because I believe of the bombardment of negativity from so many different sources. Got about a minute left in this segment, but I believe most people, because of this bombardment, they just feel like they don't have the energy. It's not like they don't care about you or they don't think you're a beautiful person or don't appreciate you. They just are tired and they forget to tell you that. And we start getting this circular, and then all of a sudden, everywhere you look, it seems like we're kind of paralyzed by fear. And you know what's the beautiful thing is, I think, Fletcher, is you can break that with one compliment.
Exactly. That's the power of our words.
Yeah. When we come back in
frequently underestimated.
We do. And words are powerful, negatively and positively, and probably more powerfully negatively, for sure. When we come back, let's keep diving into this, and let's keep trying to figure out things that people can really do to help their life right now. So I appreciate you so much, Fletcher. We'll be right back in just a few minutes with Home Sweet Home with Russ, McClellan, and Friends.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Whoa, sweet home.
Hi, this is Russ McClellan, operating partner and designated broker of Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. Hey, thanks for tuning into our show each and every Saturday morning. I wanted to share the fact we have over 50 real estate agents, and there's a reason for that. Mainly, it's relationship and culture. You know, sometimes people definitely look at the money and the commissions and the splits, but at the end of the day, it's about relationships, trust, that familial connection that you have at Keller Williams. That's what we strive to do, and that's how we look at our clients. We now have offices in Brewster, Chelan, and Wenatchee. We have agents in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee and Cashmere and Leavenworth, Chelan, Brewster. Really having a good time. So if you're interested in learning about why is Keller Williams Realty growing as fast as we've grown and have as many agents that are focused on their clients as we do, give us a call at 509-888-0038 or just stop by and see us at 1111 North Mission Street right here in Wenatchee. Hey, this is Russ McClellan. You know, we started our real estate company, Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington, in the spring of 2018. We've grown to be the largest real estate company in North Central Washington, and there's a reason for that. We attract people that want to keep the vast majority of the money they earn because they deserve it. We attract people that know that Keller Williams is the most advanced education and training real estate company and the largest real estate franchise system on the planet. We're in approximately 55 countries with approximately 170,000 agents with the most advanced technology in a world that is driven by the digital age that there is in real estate. We also, if that's not enough, profit share at 49% above a predictable expense line monthly. If you're interested in learning more about Keller Williams Realty NCW, give us a call today at 509-888-0038 and let's talk real estate. Have a great day.
You're listening to Keller Williams Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Now back to the show.
Congratulations, Fletcher, on what you've done for so many people around the country and around the world, first of all, man. I remember when you started this journey and you had a vision, and I remember I had a vision with Keller Williams about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's fun to compliment one another, and it's fun to compliment the people we care about. And you know what's interesting? Have you ever done this? When somebody's just on a rant, you know, you talk about how we often give people permission to just vent and unload, right? And then we get sucked into it. And yeah, that guy is a jerk, or that girl, she talks too much. And then, no, look, do you see her nails? Or, you know, whatever, right? Or in my case, did you see how he combed his hair today? You know, it's like, just for people who don't know me, I don't have any hair. But my point is, do you know how fast you can blow their conversation out of the water? Like when you're venting. And I was like, hey, you know what? And they're going to think that you're going to embrace it and then fall into that trap. You go, did you see the sunrise this morning? Sorry to change the subject, but did you see the sunrise, man? It was amazing. Or did you drive by the lake today? I know we live here. We drive by Lake Chelan all the time, but do you see how crystal blue that is?
Yeah.
And they go, and they just go, whoa. And then all of a sudden you can almost feel their heart rate start to slow down. And they start to realize that they had found themselves in this vacuum of negativity on this rant. And so what is that about?
Yeah, so what you're talking about doing is called a pattern interrupt. You're interrupting their pattern, their automatic programming. You're interrupting it by not only changing the subject, but by changing their energetic focus from something that doesn't feel good to something that has to feel good, right? If they focus on that, the brain, again, has to start releasing the good feeling hormones. And so it's highly effective. I mean, it could be a little irritating to somebody because they're so used to complaining, but it's highly effective when you interrupt a pattern. And the example you gave before we went to the commercial was all about writing stuff on the mirror, was another very good and very practical way of interrupting patterns. You know, a long time ago, I used to listen to the news in the morning while I was getting ready for the day because I thought, oh, well, I want to be responsible. I want to know what's going on in the world. And then by the time I was done getting ready for the day, I felt like crap. I felt negative. And then I would take that news that I listened to and I'd go and spew it to other people. Hey, did you hear the news this morning? What happened in so-and-so, or what this country's doing? So I began spreading that negativity. So I had to do a pattern interrupt. And I got radical and said, you know what? I'm not even going to pay attention to the news. I'm taking a hiatus from the news. I'm taking a big break. And instead I'm replacing it with stories that are uplifting, with messaging that feels good, that reminds me that today is a gift, that life is a gift, and that it always works out. And I tell you what, that was an effective pattern interrupt. And in a sense, that's what you're talking about doing with when people are negative. We interrupt their pattern and we gently bring them to a new story that feels good.
Well, you like to say when you're training people and talking to them about their mindset that people are capable, they're worthy, they're resourceful, because they all are. And no matter what's happened to you, no matter how many mistakes you've made. I mean, I've made so many freaking mistakes, man. I've been bankrupt a couple times. I mean, geez, I've got divorced. I deserve to get divorced. I've gone against I have to ask for forgiveness all the time. But but I'm constantly trying to recommit to help people, recommit to my goals. And I got married a couple months ago, and, I've made it 2 months. It's great. I'm still married. So, but I work at it every day, right? Like, I was divorced for like 20 years. But the love about helping people and remembering that what's happened to us does not define us. Right? Like if you go bankrupt or you can't pay the rent or you're running out of cash or, what's happening to you is not a definition of who you are, but perhaps what you do next might define you in a much more positive way. And that there's people out there. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about the internet. There's some stuff that's not good, but there's so many cool resources. Just go to youtube.com and type in positive thinking and see what comes up and start listening to some people, because you know what you'll realize is we're all going through the same thing. We just do it a little differently, but we're all human beings. And and so that's the fun thing, and it's funny because if you're around people, like I have, almost 90 real estate brokers now, right? We've grown like crazy. Some of them will say, Fletcher Ellingson, I don't need mindset work. That's hocus pocus, mumbo jumbo. And I'm like, dude, you're exactly the person that needs, because you said that means that you could probably use that. It's like the ones that embrace it are like, they're probably on a pretty good track already, because, familiarity is, we get used to it, right? We get used to our own life and our own patterns. And I just want everybody out there to know that, if you're struggling, there's an answer, man. But it's not in an instant gratification place.
Right.
It's the hope is the long game and the fear is the short game. Right? The fear is in the moment. I was listening to this podcast. The guy was talking about, have you ever had a day where you blow your tire on the freeway and it's hot as hell and you're sweating and you don't have the right tool and they gave you a little tiny wrench and then you bust your knuckles and then the 18-wheelers are going by you and they're almost killing you and you're just like, man, this day sucks, right? And you had an appointment, you had a new job, or you had to get to your kid's recital or whatever, and you're going to be late there. Then your spouse is going to yell at you and you go, this day sucks. You know what? That's fear and anxiety in the moment. But 10 years from now, will you even remember that day?
You're not, probably not. Or if you do, you're going to be like, I got through it.
Yeah,
So,
a little chuckle about how, because guess what? By the time you got to your kid's recital, you realized how beautiful that little girl was.
yeah,
By the time you got home and somebody gave you, a big hug and said it's going to be okay, you realized it wasn't the end all of your life. It was just one of those things, a little bump in the road, but it didn't slow you down, man, because you're capable,
Right.
resourceful, and flexible. And so, as a group, what do you do for people to help them stay on track with your program? What does it do?
Yes. Yeah. So first of all, there's a high level of accountability, right? So, I mean, if people are going through my curriculum, as you know, we meet on a weekly basis, not once a month, because I'm looking to help people create radical results. And so once a month conversation, it's not going to do it. So we meet on a weekly basis. I send you a video to watch during the week so that you can keep that on your mind. I'm going to be usually touching base with you, maybe via text or email. So there's a number of touch points during the week, but the curriculum is also, while it's in 3-month chunks, it's designed for a year of coaching because, again, I'm committed to helping people get lasting results, not things that make a difference for them 1 week and then they forget about it, a couple months later. We're talking about lasting results. We're talking about staying in a conversation. That's why it's called the practice of feeling good in business and in life. It's not one and done. It's a practice that's ongoing. And the results that people get are phenomenal because they literally are thinking differently than they have been previously. And when we begin thinking different thoughts, that influences our actions. So we begin taking different actions, and therefore we get different results. Yeah?
Absolutely. I mean, you talked to my son for 1 hour, and he called me later that day, and he goes, Dad, I just implemented some of the things today when I instantly went to a certain thought pattern or a certain way I was looking at my work environment. Something was going down, and he goes, it helped me get through that, helped me see it from a different angle.
Whoa, that's powerful.
And you did it in 1 hour. It's like just these little things that are reminders of, wow, I knew that, but I haven't been implementing that. I've been kind of getting sucked by the gravitational pull of the negativity in the herd, right? That really is designed to keep us at below average, the lowest common denominator. That's the problem with the herd. The herd is the lowest common denominator. The outlier, the herd doesn't like the outlier. That outlier is an arrogant, cocky jerk with a, blah, blah, blah. They want you to come back in. I mean, if you guys haven't ever done this, Google the crab pot theory. Little mystery there. Google the crab pot theory as it relates to, those crabs pulling the other crabs down going, you're not getting out of this crab pot. You're gonna die with the rest of us, dude. So, I really appreciate it. How do they get a hold of you, Fletcher? If people want to talk to you and learn more about your program, what's the best way to connect with you?
Yeah, the easiest way is, you can just call me directly, 509-679-0927. I'll answer my phone if I'm not on a call, or visit me online at just my first and last name.com, which is FletcherEllingson.com, or thepracticeoffeelinggood.com. And you can contact me there or take advantage of some of my free online resources. You can sign up for my online video course or take the happiness quiz, find out what your happiness quotient is, and I'll send you personal results from that. So I'll read it personally. I'll send you results, and or sign up for a discovery call. It's an hour-long call. There's no hard sales going on. It's just, let's find out if we're a good fit. And if you think I can help you, then we'll work together.
Well, I can guarantee you this, there's no downside. There's only upside. All right, brother. Thanks a million, man. Have a great day. Appreciate you.
All right. Right back at you.
Back in just a few minutes with Home Sweet Home with Russ, McClellan, and friends at PrimeLending.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true.
With the new Keller Williams School of Real Estate, you can now get your license for free. Access tools, tips, and personalized coaching with Keller Williams award-winning training programs, and start off your career in real estate the right way. K-Score is 100% online and entirely free to students, with pre-licensing curriculum geared toward placing aspiring agents on a direct path to licensure and profitability. With K-Score, we're not just unlocking the door, we're opening every door to anyone that's ever dreamed of starting their career in real estate. We're making a difference for you so that you can make a difference for others. Now available for all individuals in Washington. Your future awaits. Enroll today.
We're excited. We got a lot of people signing up, so give us a call, 509-888-0038, or simply email us at joinus@kwncw.com. Let's go from being stuck to unstuck.
You're enjoying the Real Estate Show, Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends. Here's more with Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, man, it's all about positivity today inside of a market that is interesting, to say the least. I am now with my man, Michael Maher from PrimeLending, one of our preferred lenders. How you doing, Michael?
Good. How you doing? Happy to be here and spread some positivity in this ever-shifting market and give people some hope through all of this.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is that shift means opportunity. That's what shift means. But it doesn't always mean that you can do the same things you've always done and get what you've always gotten. That is a fallacy. So when I mean in your world, and you and I have talked about this a lot, when I say shift is an opportunity, so let's talk about the opportunity for buyers, because on the surface, here's what I know. Went from 3% to 6% in about 4 minutes, interest rates.
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
so on the surface, I might feel like that just totally slammed the door on me. What are the creative things through structure? And I want to say this. This is why having an experienced real estate broker, or let's call them seasoned, or a team, if you're new, that's okay, but you have a team behind you that can help with a preferred lender that also has seasoning and understands that not every deal is cookie cutter, and there are ways to create opportunities with lending that weren't maybe what you would have done 2 months ago. So can you kind of dive into what some of these opportunities with respect to structuring a transaction or purchase and sale agreement as it relates to lending really are?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm glad to. So with the shifting market, we're seeing homes sit on the market significantly longer in some cases, to the point where sellers are reducing the prices by an unknown amount, but anywhere from 20 to 50,000, depending on the price range. And while everyone tends to gravitate towards the price. Oh, if I get a lower price, that's the best deal. And it's like that. It's just always been that way. When really that's not the case. If you were to take, let's say, that $20,000, let's say you're buying a $100,000 house, and they want to reduce the price $20,000. Well, rather than get the home for $80,000, you could offer them list price, the full 100. And then you say, all right, Mr. Seller, I want you to take that $20,000 and I want you to apply it towards my closing costs and my permanent interest rate buy down. And what a lot of people may not realize is that when you're talking about interest rates, there are costs associated with interest rates, and those are known as discount points. And basically you are paying discount points to lower the interest rate, and those are a percentage of the loan amount, and I won't get too far into that. But if you were to drop the price, say $20,000, your payment might change about $100 a month. But if you were to take that $20,000 and use it to buy the interest rate down in paying discount points, you can save $200, $300, $400 a month, depending on the price range. And it ends up netting you a much lower payment than if you were to drop the price.
Yeah, there's a
It's
saying.
really a great opportunity.
Yeah, it's truly true. And there's a saying that you're married to the home, you date the rate.
Exactly.
And what that means is that if interest rates go down, you can refinance it, right? But what you're trying to do is get that debt to income ratio down so it becomes more affordable, and the face purchase price isn't really the number one indicator. Interest rate is the number one, indicator of what something's going to cost you over the long run and on a monthly basis. Now, the question is this: are you working with real estate brokers that understand how to write those deals?
Yes.
Are you working with a lender that understands how to do that? Are you working with a lender that knows how to do what we call enhancement loans? Where when you go find that ugly duckling, and I preach this from the tops of the buildings, man, in a market like ours, especially in that affordability factor, that first-time home buyer, that under $400,000, go find the ugly duckling and let us help you as your expert advisors fix that home up after you buy it using an enhancement loan. Now, let me ask you this, Michael. Can you do both?
Yeah, absolutely. You could do a rate buy down on an enhancement loan and kind of kill two birds with one stone there. And another benefit to that buy down that I think is important for people to note is it's a win-win for the seller and the buyer. And that's not something that happens very often, especially in the shifting market. And what I mean by that is it's a win for the seller because the buyer gets a major reduction in their payment. In order for the buyer to get that same reduction in payment, for the seller to have to lower the price, it would be probably $50,000 to $60,000, $70,000 they'd have to drop it for them to get the same payment difference for just kicking back 3 to 6% in closing costs to buy the rate down. So it's really important to note that when you're writing these offers, if you're working with a lender that knows how to explain that, they can call the listing agent and say, hey, this is why we're doing it this way. Yes, I understand the closing costs. We're using $20,000+ in closing costs, but we're doing it in a strategic way that's going to end up saving your seller money and my buyer money, and it's a win-win. And you need to be able to explain that in order to get the offers accepted so that everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, and everybody's not on the same page, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the good news. I'm going to tell you what I did. I went to three. I'm not going to tell you who I talked to, but I went to 3 different lenders, and I talked to them about enhancement loans. And they're good lenders. And you know what they all said? Well, that's a very specialized program, Russ, and it's very complicated and costly. And, frankly, we just don't dive into that because we feel like our products that we push are the best products for the buyer. Really? Okay. Not all lenders are the same.
Nope.
It is more complicated to do an enhancement loan, isn't it, Michael?
Yeah, it is, and it requires more steps. But
Yeah.
if you're working with someone that knows what they're doing, those steps get cut down, and there's a process and a plan that everyone follows, and it goes very smoothly.
Yeah, and there's 18 different programs that you're vested in and you understand completely. It's like a lot of things. What's complicated to me isn't complicated to the expert in that field. Yet there's in mortgage and real estate and many things in life, there are different levels of talent. And we all, if we're not learning based and we're not embracing these new ideas and new structures, then we're falling behind, right? We have to be able to shift. You're only as good as your last game in business, right? You're only as good as your last game. If you don't adapt and overcome, you're going to get screwed. This is just a reality. So what we do is we focus on being learning based. You know this. I mean, I'm moving my office. We've just hired another giant productivity program. I'm going back to fundamentals, teaching people how to structure deals and how to use creative financing and be aggressive. And, frankly, would you rather have a market like a year ago where every single house that hit the market had 84 offers in 7 minutes? And you got a great rate, but you know how hard it was to get the deal. You were paying $50,000 above price. Inspections were thrown out the window. No feasibility on anything. No title contingencies. No appraisal contingencies. Just I'll do whatever I can do. Just a desperation. We want to go back to that? I'll tell you what. 6% interest rates is damn good because it's only been the last decade in history that they've been that low.
Yeah.
You know what normal is? Like 90 days on the market, not 9 minutes. Right? So in a balanced market, I want buyers to understand this. If you work with a professional expert advisor at Keller Williams, we know how to structure deals. We train and teach on this. Michael's in our office. Sharon Crockett with PrimeLending's in our office. We are looking at the absolute best way to become your personal advisor. And that's not a sales campaign. I mean, my goal is to make sure that we do the absolute best we can for sellers and buyers.
And if we just all sit back and act cool and think like, oh, I did great last year, I'm going to do great this year. No, that's not true. So creative and aggressive are not bad words, but you do have to have some information, right? And that's what I love about you. For example, man, the enhancement loan, wouldn't it work great if you saw a house that everybody hated because the kitchen was from 1965 and it was painted, like bright pink, right? Nobody wants to buy that. They go in that house and otherwise it's a beautiful house, but the carpet sucks and the kitchen's pink. I don't have any money. I got 3% down. That's all I got. So I'm going to have the seller pay the closing costs, but we're going to do an enhancement loan. We're going to do a rate buy down. And then all of a sudden you're going to get that at say 5.5%, and you're going to have $25,000 to fix up the kitchen and the carpet after you close. And you're going to get that deal at a better price because that seller and that listing agent might be panicking, right? They might be panicking because I have an ugly duckling kitchen and I have stains in my carpet from my 14 dogs. Okay, well, most buyers walk away from that. You know what I do? I wrap that up and put a bow on it and go, that's the one I'm getting. That's
opportunity right
That's
there.
the opportunity, because guess what? Imagination equals equity. If you can see it, and then we give you the mechanism to buy it at a discounted price because of those factors, and then we show you how we can roll the money to fix all that up and put it in the same loan and buy the rate down, bam. That's what I'm talking about, and that's what you bring, Michael. I mean, I really appreciate you guys. I want you to know that how much you care about our real estate brokers and their families, how much you care about your clients, you and Sharon. I just want to, from the bottom of my heart, man, as we go through a shift, I want to thank you for all your work.
No, I appreciate that, Russ. We love working with you guys, and we're excited for the future. And this shift, again, equals opportunity, and we're excited for it. We're embracing it and running full speed ahead.
How do we get a hold of you?
Yep, number's 425-760-8824. That's my cell, so you can call or text me anytime if you're listening to this and need some guidance and just need to put a plan together.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks a million. Everybody get outside. Enjoy the sunshine. Summer's here. It's going to be probably 90 degrees. Go jump in the lake. Go for a run. Go play wiffle ball with your kid. Let's have a good day. Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you very much. See you next week.
It's a bright new day just came my way.